Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Ghosts and Spirits Encounters video. I thought I would mix this one in here while I'm continuing to do your mysteries and oddities suggestions. This one has to do with another scary encounter involving shadow people, but there's a twist. Not only does it involve a shadow person, but apparently also shadow children. I think this is the first time I've ever actually talked about that here within my channel. So if anyone has any more info on that, can shadow people actually be shadow children? Let me know in the comments below. But it comes from the reddit.com website. They're from the subreddit Shadow People, and it comes from the user by the name of Judy-Ann Arbuckle, and they titled theirs as Midnight Terror. So let's go ahead and let's talk about that here, and then I'll give my thoughts and opinions on it afterwards. So here's what this user states. Hi everyone, it was suggested I post this here on another subreddit. Hopefully someone will be able to help me, so we'll see how it goes. Thanks in advance for reading. This happened a few weeks ago, and I've not been able to sleep well since. It just plays over in my mind. Nothing like this has happened to me before. A bit of a backstory. I suffer from night terrors. I have done so for about 6 years since my youngest was born. I think it's night terrors. It's like my eyes are open and I'm aware of my surroundings, but see things that aren't there, or at least that's what I always thought. Someone has said that this might be sleep paralysis, but I've never been aware that I can't move, if that makes sense. I thought you couldn't move with sleep paralysis. Maybe one of you will know. I don't know what causes it and don't really know how to control it, but I have somewhat gotten used to it, and it happens a few times per week. I should probably speak to a sleep specialist about it. Now, normally it's a tall man standing behind my door. He doesn't do anything, just stands silently and watches. And when I come around properly, it's my dressing gowns or coats hanging on the back of the door, causing the shape of a tall man. Every time my heart beats on my chest for a few seconds, but mostly I just then roll over afterward and then go back to sleep. Anyway, this night I was asleep/awake. I don't know again how to describe this particular state. My bedroom door swung open and a child walked into my room. Not unusual, as I have two of them, an 8-year-old female and a 60-year-old male. It was dark, being the middle of the night, so I just saw the little figure. I watched the child walk around my bed. I sleep on the side closest to the door, to the foot of the opposite side of my king-size bed, like they were going to climb in on the other side. I said, "Hey, are you okay?" But they didn't reply. Without me feeling them climbing on the bed, all of a sudden a hand grabbed my foot, maybe 5 feet away from where they were previously standing. I have terribly ticklish feet and accidentally kicked it whenever they did it, and then kicked the child that I didn't feel again climbing into my bed. My heart sank, then I rolled away to turn on my lamp, saying, "Oh, I'm sorry. But when I turned back, there was no child. I jumped out of the bed thinking I'd knocked them over or off the bed or something like that, and didn't hear it, but again, no child. And so I checked the kids' room, and sure enough, there they are, both safe and sound in their beds, fast asleep. I know it sounds mad, but I'm physically shaking typing this. I, to this day, don't know what happened, and have thought about it every night when I go to bed. Thanks again for taking the time to read this. I hope it makes sense. I am dyslexic." And then that's it. That's everything that the user Judy-Ann Arbuckle stated in their encounter. So again, let's go ahead and let's talk about that here. For starters, it looks like this user is suffering from both things. It looks like it's sleep paralysis, although they're stating they can move. Someone again mentioned that in the comments. Can that happen? I think everything I've read again has said that you can't move. Like it's almost like you're paralyzed and all you can see is just pretty much what your eye sees, but you can't move anything. But here she was able to move. It's a weird situation, but in any case, she was suffering from that, and then that's when she saw this shadow person or shape of a tall man always looking from that area, silently watching, in other words. And then when she goes and inspects, that's when she sees that it was hiding there behind the dressing gowns or coats that were from behind the back door. But this thing, whatever it was, wasn't necessarily doing anything per se. But the next experience definitely takes things to another level. All of a sudden now, the door swung open, and then that's when she saw a child shadow person walk into the room. Not only that, but they seemed to be able to move in a very fast speed. At one point, they were on front of the bed, and then at the next point, they were on the opposite side of the bed. She described it 5 feet away from where they were previously standing, and then all of a sudden, it was grabbing her foot. So that's another thing too. Apparently, a shadow person / child that can now actually physically touch things, like in this case, touching her feet. And so she kicked it, not realizing what happened, and then thinking that it was one of her kids, but it was not. She found them to be fast asleep, both of them within their beds. So what was it other than a child shadow person? It's really creepy when you think about it, because here this thing was mimicking almost one of her children, and then wanting to actually touch her, like to actually go straight up to her and then go into her bed. And then that's where it left off before she inadvertently kicked it. The closest experience that I've had, I think, to a shadow person involving a child or involving a kid, you're looking at a picture of it here. This actually occurred over at Yoakum Hospital in Yoakum, Texas. There is it's a hospital that's been long abandoned, and there are 3 levels there. There is a location that has multiple shadow people as well. I haven't seen one in person yet. Some of the crew that were in the Spectre crew have, but they in turn basically see it because they're more, for lack of a better term, clairvoyant to it. And maybe I just have those walls surrounding me where I just can't see them. Well, in any case, on this particular trip, I was just randomly taking pictures, and then all of a sudden, when I was looking at the evidence later on, there was this picture. And then I realized, what is this? Is this a child? The reason I mentioned that is because that hospital, the level we were on, apparently has children ghosts. These are ghosts that have apparently stayed there long after they left, and they're there as children. They roam about that location. They're there along with apparently a very bad ghost or spirit, somebody by the name of Edward, Edwin, or Edgar, one of those 3. And they basically run around there. We've communicated with them several times, sometimes through EVP, and then also through some of the devices that we have that light up. And then another case is through some knocks as well, forcing them to knock. And then that's knowing that they're there and they're communicating with us. So I think I might have actually captured a shadow person child, which you're looking at here. It looks like they're playing peekaboo, right? Like they're looking across at me. And this would have been one thing that I normally do as well, where I'm taking pictures in front of me, and then all of a sudden I turn around behind me and take quick snapshots. I do that for situations like this because I want to make sure if something is looking at me and I don't realize it, that they'll know. I mean, I'll know later on because now it'll show up like this. So let me know what you guys think. Is this really a shadow person child as well? All right, everybody. Thanks again as always. Take care.